Here's what this lesson covers: what hard money and private money actually are, how the numbers work, when expensive debt makes you more money than cheap debt, and when it will absolutely wreck you. This is Lesson 9 of the Property Code's free 32-lesson course. If you haven't seen the earlier lessons on deal analysis and financing fundamentals, go back and watch those first, because you need that foundation before this one lands correctly. Most people hear hard money loan and they hear loan shark. That's not what this is. Hard money is asset-based lending. The lender doesn't care much about your credit score, your tax returns, or your W-2. They care about one thing: the property. Specifically, what the property is worth right now and what it'll be worth after you fix it. That's the whole model. They're lending against the deal, not against you as a borrower. Private money is different, but related. Private money is capital from an individual, a family member, a fellow investor, a dentist who's tired of the stock market, someone who wants a better return than their savings account is giving them and is willing to collateralize it against real estate. No bank in the middle, just two people and a promissory note. Both cost more than conventional financing. That's the deal. Right now in 2026, conventional investment property loans are running somewhere around 7 to 8%. Hard money loans are sitting between 11 and 14%, with origination fees, called points, of 2 to 4 points on the front end. 1 point equals 1% of the loan amount. So on a $200,000 loan, 3 points means $6,000 out of pocket at closing before you ever pick up a hammer. That sounds brutal, and sometimes it is. But let's talk about when it isn't. The math that justifies expensive debt is almost always the same: short timeline, forced equity, speed advantage. If you're doing a fix and flip, you're not carrying that 12% loan for 30 years. You're carrying it for 6 months, maybe 9. The annualized rate sounds terrifying. The actual cost over a 6-month hold is survivable if the deal is right. Here's a real example. Say you find a distressed single family in a secondary market. Think Birmingham, Akron, Memphis. The asking price is $180,000. Comparable properties that are fully renovated are selling for $280,000. Your rehab estimate, done properly and not optimistically, is $40,000 in materials and labor. You go to a hard money lender. They'll typically lend up to 70% of the after repair value, what the industry calls ARV. 70% of $280,000 is $196,000. That covers your purchase price plus a chunk of your renovation budget. So the lender funds $196,000. You're borrowing at 12% interest only, plus 2.5 origination points. The interest on $196,000 at 12% annually is about $23,500 a year. For a 6-month hold, that's around $11,750 in interest payments. The origination fee at 2.5 points is $4,900. So your total financing cost is roughly $16,650. You renovate, you sell at $275,000, slightly under ARV, because that's a realistic number, not a best case. Deduct the purchase price of $180,000, the rehab of $40,000, the financing of $16,650, and let's say $9,000 in closing costs and commissions on both sides. You're walking out with roughly $29,000 profit on a deal you didn't have the capital to do conventionally, that you won because you could close in 10 days when the bank would have taken 45. That's the case for hard money. Not, I don't have good credit. Not, I don't feel like doing paperwork. The case is, the deal works, the timeline is short, and speed was the variable that lets you get the deal at all. Lenders you should actually know about. Kiavi, formerly Lending Home, is one of the larger national hard money platforms, mostly for fix and flip and BRRRR deals. Lima One Capital operates across most states and has products for both flips and rental property acquisition. RCN Capital is another national name with competitive rates and a straightforward draw process for rehab funds. These aren't endorsements. Shop multiple lenders on every deal because rates and terms vary more than you'd expect, and the person who picks up the phone and knows your market matters. For private money, the sourcing is different. You're building relationships before you need the money. Real estate investor meetups, Bigger Pockets forums, local RIA groups, these are where people find private lenders. The pitch to a private lender is simple. You offer them a first lien position on a property worth more than what they're lending, at an interest rate well above what they'd earn anywhere else, secured by something real. An investor earning 8 to 10% on a note secured by real estate, compared to 4.5% in a high-yield savings account, is not a hard sell if you've done your homework and you present yourself like someone who has. Now here's where people blow themselves up with hard money. They use it on the wrong deal type. They buy a rental property, finance it with hard money because they couldn't get a conventional loan, and then they don't have an exit strategy. The hard money loan matures in 12 months. They haven't refinanced out. They haven't sold. The lender extends, charges more points, and now the cash flow the investor was counting on is evaporating. Hard money is a bridge. It is not a destination. If you take a bridge loan, you need to know exactly where you're going on the other side before you set foot on it. The two exit strategies that work are sell or refinance. On a flip, you sell. On a BRRRR, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. You refinance into a conventional 30-year loan once the property is stabilized and rented. If your numbers are clean, the conventional lender will pay off the hard money lender. Your tenant is covering the mortgage, and you've pulled most or all of your equity back out to do the next deal. What kills deals at the refinance stage is appraisals coming in low, debt-to-income ratio problems, or the property sitting vacant when the lender wants to see 6 months of rent history. Know those landmines before you take the hard money loan, not after. The number you need to remember going into any hard money deal is the spread. If you're borrowing at 12% and your deal is generating a 30% return on cost, the spread works. If you're borrowing at 12% and you're hoping for a 15% return, you don't have enough cushion for the deal to go sideways. And deals go sideways. Every contractor has a story. Every renovation has a surprise inside the walls. Price in the cost of the debt and model the deal at a timeline 30% longer than you think it'll take. If it still pencils, you have a deal. Private money gives you more flexibility on structure because it's a direct negotiation. You can agree to interest-only payments, deferred payments, profit splits, or some hybrid. The legal documents still need to be professional. A promissory note, a deed of trust, or mortgage, depending on your state, recorded properly. Don't do private money deals on a handshake, not because the person isn't trustworthy, because proper documentation protects both of you and makes the whole thing enforceable. The practical action you can take right now: pull up 3 hard money lenders in the market where you're looking to invest. Request a term sheet from each of them. You want to know their maximum LTV on ARV, their interest rate, their points, their draw schedule for rehab funds, their extension policy, and how fast they can close. That information costs you nothing. Having it means when you find the deal, you're not scrambling. Lesson 10 goes into the BRRRR method in detail. How to build a small portfolio with limited starting capital by recycling the same dollars across multiple properties. That's where this financing knowledge becomes a repeatable system. The code doesn't expire, but your window might.